from a business perspective, you talk about these small roadside zoos and stuff, and you said they're not all bad people. Like some of them may, I'm guessing some of them may actually take pretty good care of their animals. Is there a chance that some of those businesses could expand into a sanctuary and stop?
I don't think so. The roadside zoos are so tiny. I mean, they're 5 acres of land, not a lot of space to be able to build anything, and they might have 200 animals in a tiny, tiny area.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, they're breeding them to, and they're thinking that, this is livestock for me.
Oh,
right.
And you don't look, most people don't look at like a farmer and say, man, you're a bad guy. And that guy's trying to support his family. So that same mindset, you got to be open-minded and say they're not all bad people.
Yeah.
The people in the Tiger King documentary, those are bad people.
Yeah.
Those are people that were they had extraordinary wealth, and they still chose to harm animals. That's different than these tiny roadside.
A cow's a lot different than a tiger, too, though.
Right, but the same, you're killing an animal, breeding them, using them to make money. The whole idea is that you don't look at the farmer as saying, man, you're a bad person.
Yeah, but I think with the tiger, though, you're wasting, you're killing an animal, and then you're just wasting that animal. It's different.
See, they argue differently. They say, well, we're selling this animal to China, and we're going to be able to, they're going to make traditional medicine out of this animal, and my family's going to
Traditional
benefit
medicine.
from it. Yeah, they think that this stuff is very real. So
Bullshit medicine. Isn't that sort of in Asia, those types of things are like something that the elite in society uses sort of like just something to show off your wealth?
Oh, yeah, this is all
like
about
rhino horn nonsense and stuff like that.
Rhino horn is creatine. It's the same thing that your fingernails are composed of.
Yeah.
Right.
But they believe that that's going to cure so many different things. They use ivory from elephants
But it's more like just saying, hey, I have a lot of money, I can afford this stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the people that buy the trinkets and things like that, the people that buy like the fancy tiger wine and say that, hey, 3 cubs were dipped in this bottle for a year and marinated, and now we're drinking this wine. Those people, absolutely. But there is a population of people that wholeheartedly believes
they really believe in that
all
stuff.
economic statuses that, man, I'm sick. I didn't have my rhino horn medication this morning, and how can I get more of this stuff? And the fact that traditional medicine was such a big thing there's still people that believe that, even though it's scientifically proven that this harms you in
problematic.
insane ways.
Yes.
That there's a level of people that are very elite, high economic status that want to flaunt their wealth, and they will buy these products. But they lean more towards wine and products. They want to be able to have a massive tiger rug. They want to have, like the trinkets or like we saw that one person was cutting the feet off of elephant and making them into trash cans, so they were using them as trash cans.
Wow.
That's what the elite is buying, to show the wealth. But if you are just getting traditional medicine, they can't really show wealth, because once you get it, you're gone.
Right.
That's a problem for all economic statuses that we're trying to stop right now, and it's so difficult to do because they don't.
Because there's money
in
involved
science.
in it. Yeah. Well, it's a big trade.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Interesting.
No, that is. There's a lot to it. A lot of angles I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we want to make people believe that the economy is linked to this, that there's healthy ways to be able to do it. For example, places in India, Ranthambore, Bandhavgarh, Tadoba, Pinch areas, their main source of income in those areas is wildlife tours. And whenever someone books a safari out there, they might pay $6,000 to go out there for a week, but that lodging facility made money, the restaurants there made money, the shopping centers made money, the drivers there made money. So we want to promote the fact that there is a healthy way to do this, that you don't need to abuse animals to be able to make a living off of this stuff. And there's sanctuaries right now that have $1 million budgets, multi-million-dollar budgets, and they haven't done anything shady, nothing wrong. Their animals are in great shape, but it takes more work to be able to get to that
spot. Yeah.
Well, what you're talking about doing makes me think of a safari. Like you're taking people across the property and showing them the animals and explaining each animal to them and stuff. That
I would pay more for that.
Yeah.
Like to take my wife, my kids, and we would go there, and it's educational as well.
You're one of the few that would pay more for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, and see that, and maybe that's part of the problem. But I would personally pay more for that. I think that it's an educational thing. But I guess you're right. I don't know. I feel like that's. I like that concept though.
Yeah,
I do too.
Carolina Tiger Rescue is the same way, so you can't just go walk freely there. But at different areas, I believe Turpentine Creek allows you to walk freely and to do guided tours.
Yeah.
Noah's Ark allows you to do both, and they have a lot of success with it. Jamma is the person that I reached out to whenever I left Carolina Tiger Rescue to expand my knowledge, and she was the founder of Noah's Ark Animal Sanctuary in Locust Grove, Georgia. And I went there too as just a broke college kid, and just mustered up enough money and used my credit card to get a hotel there just so I would be able to go. And she is the founder of 2 organizations, so she's adopted hundreds of kids out all over the place. She believes that she's going to change the world in every facet, and she has 250 acres down there. And, I asked her, why do you let people walk freely here? And she's like, I was born with nothing. I had no money. Some people don't have any money. I don't want to charge them for coming in. And she does very well for herself there. So there's different reasons why there's facilities that do have the zoo-like vibe.
As long as it's safe for the animals, it should be fine, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, she's put double fencing around every habitat so that you can't physically touch anything, that you can't be near an animal. But there's a lot of people that come by, and she just has donation boxes set up and that say, if you can contribute, great. If not, we appreciate you coming and spending time with us and our animals. And so I'm not against that.
Right.
But I do think that there's more educational. If you really want to make a difference and you're cause-oriented and you're goal-oriented, then I definitely think that wildlife tours being provided is an essential way to get people to understand that this is a very abusive thing, and to give them things that they can do in their everyday life. Because if you bring people together in a sanctuary or a zoo or whatever environment and then leave not knowing anything to benefit those animals, then you failed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't accomplish anything.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good for Columbus County too, because that area is a tobacco. I mean, historically that was a tobacco area, and they've lost. Columbus County's seen a lot of trade, a lot of business, and there's a lot of poverty.
There's a lot of poverty in Columbus County.
And so I think this is a really positive thing. It can turn into a really big and positive thing for that area too. So it's good to hear that Columbus County's got some positive stuff going on.
Yeah, I think that initially whenever I reached out to, we were getting ready to buy a massive property in Yancey County, and Gary Lanier's name popped up in a meeting. And I was just so interested in this guy because everyone had such nice things to say about him. He's the head of economic development in Columbus County. And, I went down there and it was all Southern hospitality.
Oh, yeah.
Let me take you out to a restaurant. Let's talk about this stuff. What do you need from us? First time in 5 years of me doing this where the county asks, what do you need from us? Every other place I'd ever been to was, we'll let you do it, but this is on you. And they kind of backed off from us as we were approaching the closing on a property. And I was just like, man, this environment is not healthy, because if they're going to give us some pushback. And
Right.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. And, I had thought about reaching out to Gary. And whenever I reached out to him and we sat down, he was like, what do you need from us? We got some grants available. We have some additional funding. I don't know what your financial situation is, but we'll help you do it.
That's great.
And he convinced David Small, Carl Muellers Jr., and Willard Small to gift the buildings on that property. So we didn't pay for those.
Wow.
And this is the first time, and I could just tell that this is the vibe that I'm getting, that this is going to be a collaborative effort. So I do think that this will benefit Columbus County in a great way. And,
Awesome.
They asked, do you want to have more money left for building? Can we talk about tax deductions? Because we are 501c3 for the people that are gifting the buildings and the portion of the property and things like that. It was the first time where I didn't have to dish out, $1 million loan, and they allowed us to do it where we could pay stuff off and have no debt.
Wow.
And we could pay our attorneys off for doing all the rezoning. We could pay, we could buy equipment on cash instead of having to rent things every single time, and it'd be a long, lengthy process to get stuff done. So, yeah, I'm eternally grateful to Columbus County and Gary Lanier for doing all that.
Will your
Awesome.
facility be able to bring in a lot of tourism for the tours or those?
Yeah, we hope so. I mean, honestly, all sanctuaries are usually seasonal business because of the fact that weather is a big component. But the fact that Andrew Jackson Highway is connected to our property and you have to use that to go to Myrtle Beach, we do expect that there will be 4 solid months where we can make large revenue. But we also want to own sanctuaries in other places too. So I don't want it to stop with just Columbus County.
Right.
Because I feel as though the people will be impacted there, and they'll say, the animals they have personalities, they're valuable. We should do whatever we can to protect them.
Well, if you're getting people to stop there in that area too, that should stimulate that economy there some as well, outside of the sanctuary.
Yeah, and that's really what Gary Lanier and I talked about initially.
Restaurants, stuff like that.
Restaurants, shopping centers, gas stations,
Yeah.
grocery stores. They recently had a grocery store, Hills, shut down in Fairbluff, which is the area that we're in. And they've been impacted so adversely with hurricanes in the last 5 years. And there's another common question that we get is what happens if another hurricane comes? And most of the facilities that we've been around, they have had massive hurricanes and floods, and it's just a part of the business.
Right.
Because you want to be around wetland.
Right.
And anytime you're around wetland, you're going to have natural disasters potentially come by.
Right.
But yeah, I do think that we want to be able to build a restaurant on there. Our ordinance is phenomenal. It can allow us to rescue any animal in the world.
That's awesome.
So if we get a call for a giraffe, we have enough land and money available, we'll rescue that animal too. So there'll be no animal that we won't take in as long as we can have.
Wow. Is that property expandable? Could you buy more than just the 50 acres in the long run, or?
We've bought everything that's nearby.
Okay.
Aside from that, it's just wetland.
I see.
There's a 1 acre lot of land that I would be interested in buying, but we've also sectioned off a portion of our property to be able to sell to a local restaurant or whatever the case may be, less than 1 acre. But we do hope that we can help Columbus County get more economic tours, just a better financial situation for all those guys.
Definitely.
And we made it clear to them too that we wanted to take care of our staff and our employees, and that we will offer them health insurance, and we want to give them small life policies and actually a livable wage and things like that. So I do think it'll benefit Columbus County.
Okay.